maybe what we can, all right. So let's work on, working with folks here. Work on a draft of the key issues, summarized in this treaty. And let's see if we can start advocating around that and educating using social media.
Absolutely.
And our friends in Congress to talk about that, all right?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, yes.
Rudy, I have one thing. Thank you for everything that you do. My name is Lisa DeVille, and I'm a member of the Mandan Hidatsa Foundation in Fort Berthold in North Dakota. And the thing that we also are running into is human rights issues. Now, laws have been created to have the protesters be quiet on what we've been speaking out against. Now, I am from a oil-producing tribe, and it's been a challenge for us. We created a grassroots group. We also have been doing studies and research on the methane. I'm a declarant for the methane rule. So, pushing that rule forward has been a challenge, because it only don't affect the people living there, it affects the whole world because of the emissions that are coming off of those flares where I live. Now we have 45,000 wells in the Bakken, and the majority of them are flaring. Wow. So
45,000?
45,000 in the Bakken area, Lewiston to Fort Berthold. So that's what we're dealing with, and my family has always been in the forefront to do the studies and make sure that we're protected. We need more research. We need more. We need our tribal government to also understand that, because they're not letting us. The Dakota Access Pipeline was approved 8 miles where we live, and that was approved going to Missouri, but they never came to us and asked Mandaree people if it was good, if we wanted it. Okay. So they're making decisions based on influence from the government or from the industry.
Okay. Other thoughts?
Mr. Senator?
Yes.
Wayne Frederick, Rosebud Sioux Tribal Council. One thing that's probably going to end up coming up with the freeze that Trump has ordered on land being turned into trust for the tribes is one thing we need specifically at Rosebud Sioux Tribe, as being the only land manager out there out of all these tribes that have an act that protects us to turn land into trust. We need your support and continued support in helping protect the Scattered Tracts Act, which pertains to Rosebud Sioux Tribe.
Okay. I'm not familiar with this, but we will certainly look at
Yeah.
it. Do you guys talk to the committee that has jurisdiction over a lot of issues here? What committee is that?
The Senate Indian Affairs Committee. Right. Senator Tester is the ranking member.
Yeah.
No, we've
We've
hosted
decided
meetings.
several times.
And
We
have you been in communication, or you just, do they listen to you?
No, he says that we're a sovereign nation is what he says to us all the time.
Mr. Sanders, Alaska delegation just came in here too, and they have a long history of coming here, lobbying, going through the hall, so I'm sure that you have something briefly to say too.
Hello.
Sorry we're late.
That's okay.
Thanks for meeting with us. We're here speaking about extractive issues in Alaska as well, trying to meet with some offices. And the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge is a priority issue to protect it permanently. And we also want to defend Obama's decision to withdraw the Chukchi Sea and the Beaufort Sea. If that comes up, we want to defend that because there's people that live on the coast that rely on whaling. And we're also talking to people about fishing issues and our rights to continue to live our way of life and continue our subsistence fishing with salmon and subsistence rights in general and food security, because we still live from the land in Alaska, as you know.
I'm an ocean person. We hunt bowhead whales, belugas, walrus, bearded seals.
And you use that for food and?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
We don't waste it. And as they fight for water is life, even our ocean is life also.
Believe me.
So.
And we're in the process of destroying our oceans, are we not?
Yes, we are. That's one thing we attempt to struggle and stand up for, because we have a high unemployment rate in our community, and we rely a lot on our ocean for traditional food to keep us going through the winter. And we don't want the industry coming in there, because they have no proven way of cleaning the ocean in the event of a major oil spill. If they discover all
We are very, very worried as to what climate change is doing to the oceans
Yes.
in terms of acidification and so forth, and what that will mean for mammal life and et cetera. All right, there's so much, I mean, it's, you know, we could spend 5 hours here talking about the issues. But I think, and I know I'm repeating myself, you have more support than you know, but you're gonna have to be smart and work with us to generate that support, okay? And we have to, you know, not everybody in this country is as familiar with these issues as you are. Don't assume that they are. But if you, in simple language, say, look, these are the concerns, A, B, C, D, okay? And maybe we can put it into one big piece of legislation or whatever, okay? And rally support for that. I think we could make a step forward. Tell me again your relationship with the Indian Affairs Committee. Do they listen to you?
No.
It depends. I think there's a lot of different groups that are working on different issues. The concern that we have, from our work as the Indigenous Environmental Network with these are a lot of our base groups that have come with us, is that we are also working, like I said, with Republicans in red states that are very pro-energy development, and at the core root of it, a lot of the things that are put forth that they advocate for go against the basic tenets of our
Right, no, I
belief.
got it, but at least what you gotta do, look, they're politicians too. And if they know that you are organized, they will pay that much more attention to you. Okay, that's the reality of politics. Who is the chair of the Indian Affairs now? You know?
I don't know.
Hovind is?
That's right.
All right,
It was Barasa.
all right. Hovind is a conservative Republican, but my experience with him, he's not an unreasonable person. Anyone here talk to Hovind?
I have,
Okay, and what kind of response do you get?
we don't get a response. It's really been ineffective for us.
Have you talked to him personally?
No.
You
No
haven't even
staff.
gotten through yet?
We've been here about 4 times and he always sends his staff to meet us.
And you're from North Dakota?
Yes.
All right, I will speak to him this afternoon. You leave me your name and,
Okay.
I have her
Oh.
contact.
He also has a binder of information. We did the research with Duke University on brine spills. I mean, all the environmental impact. on our
I will talk to him
Okay.
in an hour. All right.
Senator, we're limited for time for you, so why don't we get everybody to kind of line up on this side?
All right, but
of the
before we do that,
Okay.
I know, I got a vote in a little while, is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Changing subjects again, healthcare, in your areas,
Okay.
the Indian Health Service.
I would like to talk on behalf of that. My name is Vanessa Dundon, also go by Susie Desba. I was a victim of police brutality at Standing Rock. I was actually shot in the eye. My IHS healthcare plan being Navajo totally failed me in so many ways. I want to do some type of IHS healthcare reform, and I've been working and talking to some people. Tamara Paquette in Florida. She's a Democratic Women's Club president. They try to bind us to our reds. You know, I had 72 hours to save my eye. 72 hours to get the care that I needed. It took me a month to get the surgery that I needed. It took me a month, and it was the kindness of my Dr. Calvin Grant in Chicago for me to even get that surgery. It failed me completely. I tried to go through the IHS in Standing Rock. I got sent to emergency rooms. I went to 3 different hospitals. I was supposed to get to Minneapolis. It took me a week to get there. And then when I finally got there, they wouldn't accept my IHS healthcare. They wouldn't accept my Arizona Medicaid. And the doctor basically told me that I would never see again. So I went back to Standing Rock December 4th, and that's where I got connected with my Dr. Calvin Grant in Chicago, and my vision is coming back.
Good.
And I've had 3 surgeries. I just had a lens replacement about a week and a half ago. But IHS healthcare failed us, and we need reform.
Okay, generally speaking, that's one tragic case. What is the good and the bad of the IHS?
Senator,
Yeah.
we have actually working with our congressional delegation, legislation within being introduced for making them accountable for things like that. And we also sponsored a bill with Brown on doing a complete audit on IHS to find out where the money is at.
All right, bottom line is, it's a simple question, is every healthcare system does bad things. No, none is perfect. Is the IHS doing a decent job or a not decent job in general?
Not
Not decent.
Okay, is it your experience from different locales all over? Now, in Alaska, there's some actually interesting, aren't there some interesting healthcare programs? But you're not seeing them, I gather.
We have the same issues that all other tribes have. We have built our healthcare programs and they are different, but we still have the same issues. It's failed us in some
Have you
ways.
sat down out of curiosity or your representatives with the head of the IHS?
Sure.
We have people to do that. There's
Okay.
a long history of that. A lot of it is the lack of appropriation, adequate appropriation, and there's provisions under Self-Determination Act to contract that from IHS to provide our own services too. But it's been always a capacity issue, and Rosebud also has something to say. They've been working on this issue.
Okay.
One thing that in Rosebud we've been working with is we have an 8A status for government contracting. Now, one thing is they always say they push 638 self-determination, but in another faction of trying to restructure Indian healthcare is a management company that we created to handle the 5 key points that manage all IHS hospitals on the western side of South Dakota. We got other tribes to go in with us, and the IHS did not RFP the contract out, and they just awarded it to a government contracting, A and B. And so right now, we're tied up and we've been trying to get it, the light shined on it so that we can actually be forcing them, IHS, to recontract out so that we can take on that type of contracting. And it's a different way of coming around than 638ing, and we'll still have that ability to manage how we feel it needs to be managed.
Okay. All right, I apologize, I've got to get going. Yeah,
Can I
Les.
just please add one more thing? I think there's a lot to say and significance in saying that we have a lot of allies on our side. We just need to stimulate that
Yes.
allyship. The most important thing everyone needs to understand is tribal sovereignty and the uniqueness and the power in that, and that it's a nation-to-nation relationship. And we all have these issues with our lands, and we have differences, but we're all indigenous, we're all humanity, we're all people, we all have a shared home. But the most important thing that you can do here and stress to your constituents and all of us and the people here that you work with is to understand the importance of tribal sovereignty, to understand the importance of recognizing that unique stance that we have in nation-to-nation relation, and to invite the tribes and encourage that dialogue and to have us sit at the table with people here making these decisions. We need more of that in the future, to have us come here and have all of this representation sitting at the table with the decision makers here in DC. And I would stress if you could please educate people around you about tribal sovereignty. That's the most important thing.
I think we wanted to do a photograph. Is
Yeah,
that
so
correct?
picture takers, if you want to be a picture taker, come on over here. If you want to be in the
And why
picture.
don't we get
let's
our
have-
people? Why don't you
Yes,
get
George is on her
Georgia?
way. Senator, do you want to stand here so that people are in the back, or?
Should we do it
Because there's
separately?
so
or-
many people.
Real quick, I know some of some grassroots and elected officials, but these 4 here are some elected youth delegates,
Hey.
and I'd like to acknowledge them.
Where are you from?
I'm from Rosebud, South Dakota.
Thanks for visiting.
Good.
I would like to say, like to welcome you to Rosebud.
We'd love, I think I will.
What do you want to take a picture of?
Hello.
Georgia, I want
I'm
Georgia.
Angie and Kat. I'm from the Rosebud tribe, but I'm an enrolled member.
I was gonna have them kind of stand there, have the center stand on this side. If we should just
Okay,
do
what's, Katie,
right here, sir. Does it make
what's the
more
best
sense
way to do
different
photographs?
groups?
Is Georgia here?
Georgia's right behind you.
Okay, what is the best way to do
Why
photographs?
don't we have everybody move to this side of the room, and the senator will stand here. Georgia can take a picture of the senator with everybody in the background. Does that work?
Were you here?
Yeah, just stay where you are.
Okay.
Can we have everybody move this way in the room? Move towards the windows? Yeah, unless it's just
I think quick selfies.
Well, let,
Georgia by the door.
we're gonna go a little nuts here. All right, Georgia, raise your hand, Georgia. All right, start taking pictures and we will, all right, Georgia, fight your way forward here. Let's go. Okay, let Georgia take a picture. Okay. Okay, we gotta move, guys.
Okay, ready?
Whoop. Okay, one second, because we start selfies, we'll never get out of here.
All right, everybody look at Georgia with their hand up, please, by the other door.
Okay.
All right.
You got 'em?
And this group, why don't you move out so we can
Okay,
get to the
next group,
round?
let's go.
Move over to this window.
No, let's go, because we've got too many people, not enough time.
Move out. We have our barriers. We're gonna take a picture of the center with the treaty.
That's good.
In the valley.
Georgia?
We'll be having dinner again tonight, but I don't know where yet, but if you still want to meet them, they're here. But then,
Look at Georgia. Georgia, raise your hand. You got the good photos? Okay.
All right.
Selfie.